Fact number 1. He lost his money. He did. Fact number 2. He believes that he saved Georgia. That's also fact.
He believes.
He believes, yeah. Fact number 3. He also believes that he lost his money because he saved Georgia. So unify first two.
Okay.
And question number 4. Where from he gonna take this money back? Maybe from the country he just saved?
Okay, well, I think that it's clear that you were a detective, Nodar. Ivanishvili's schizophrenia, that, the entire world and the deep state and, the Western world is fighting him, maybe he imagined that, in the next elections, German state, French state, Italian state, all the others will basically put pressure on the Georgian nationals to vote against him. Hello and welcome to Talk Georgia Question Time. With me, Giorgi Rukhadze.
And with me, Nodar Kharshiladze.
This is a special edition of Talk Georgia where Nodar and I answer your pressing questions about Georgian and international politics.
And it's brought to you by Droeba Media Group, trusted source of information and analysis.
And GSAC, a think tank providing comprehensive political analysis of Georgia and wider Black Sea region, also academic and practical training for postgraduate students and mid-career professionals.
Okay, let's go to questions.
Let's go to questions.
Two
we
of
have
them.
2 questions. I tried to blend them into one, but it didn't work, so there's 2 different questions.
First one, I think it's more, more popular question. Second is more important, if you ask me. But first one leads to second one.
Okay, the first one came from Tim, which runs like this. With his lawyer's latest letter, is Ivanishvili blaming U.S. intelligence for blocking his funds in Swiss banks and asking President Trump to return them? Did I get that right? Well, I like the second part of the question. And the Zaza, also, who is asking that what does Georgian Dream's restriction of diaspora voting rights signify? And are they preparing for earlier elections?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, before we get down into these questions, let me read out some of the juicy details of this letter that came from Ivanishvili's lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
It was yesterday, was it? Yesterday. The day before yesterday.
2 days ago.
Okay, so and story is basically that tomorrow the London court is going to decide over Bidzina's money, which is as kind of the last instance of the Bermuda case, which is kind of decided in London. We are talking about $600 million. And even if Bidzina wins it, it will be very hard for him to get this money, simply because he is a sanctioned individual and the banking system doesn't serve him. But here's more in his letter, and let me read it out. It's a long letter. I made it a one-pager and asked artificial intelligence to translate it quickly.
Really?
So if there are some, if you're not happy with the translation, it's not me, it's an artificial AI. The political persecution of Mr. Ivanishvili by foreign intelligence services, and he means U.S. foreign intelligence, for U.S. intelligence service here, the so-called deep state began in 2008. This was the period when the previous government, the United National Movement, falsified the elections and seized power. As a result, Bidzina Ivanishvili completely distanced himself from the political force. This decision was categorically unacceptable to the external patrons of the former government, which is why they deliberately began to destroy his financial accounts held in Switzerland. Okay. So, American special services started destroying Bidzina's accounts in Switzerland. They easily recruited a specific individual, Patrice Lescaudron, a personal banker working at Credit Suisse, through whom Mr. Ivanishvili's accounts were looted. Years later, this individual was found hanging from a tree in a forest. The incident was classified as a suicide and the case was closed. The intelligence services took the matter so far that in the process of politically persecuting Ivanishvili, they completely destroyed the reputation of Swiss banking system and brought what was once the number one bank in the world, Credit Suisse, to bankruptcy. I don't think it was number one bank ever, but okay. Because of Bidzina's $500 million, they brought 1.2 trillion bank into bankruptcy, the American service. So, in parallel, with court disputes, the political persecution of Bidzina Ivanishvili expanded over time and reached new heights of absurdity, ultimately culminating in the previous US administration imposing sanctions on him under the pretext of pursuing Russian interests in Georgia. It is clear that the informal rulers, the same deep state, have difficulty controlling the judicial system, especially when there is not even the slightest question in the case, but they have many other levers at their disposal, including the sanctions. There is another case, even more cynical and crudely fabricated, in Switzerland, which is controlled by the intelligence services, again American, specifically at Julius Baer Bank. Despite the fact that the sanctions imposed by the previous US administration have no connection whatsoever to these funds, the bank arbitrarily froze both Mr. Ivanishvili's assets and restricted access to the funds for his wife and children. Before our eyes, an unprecedented example of persecution, robbery and blackmail of an individual has been created simply because he placed Georgia's national interests above everything else and refused to become an executor of the instructions of intelligence services, the so-called deep state. To cite just one example, the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, openly acknowledges that the previous administration was entirely run by individuals with informal influence, and that he himself is fiercely fighting against these forces. The sanctions imposed on Ivanishvili were also introduced precisely by those informal rulers, and in this regard, Trump's decision will be for us a real indicator whether the president's fight against the deep state is genuine or not. And last but not least, Mr. Ivanishvili has fully come to the terms that with the fact that neither the funds related to the Credit Suisse case nor the funds accumulated at Julius Baer Bank will be made available to him or his family members, once again in view of the political persecution and blackmail. But Mr. Ivanishvili and his family continue, even without these funds, both to protect our country's peace and economic stability on the one hand, and to carry out charitable activities on the other. Well, that's the shorter version of the letter that was published.
It was quite a long version.
Well, yeah, the day before yesterday. So my question to you, Nodar, is, okay, yeah, to answer Tim's question, well, is this guy sane? Okay, and then again, is he asking Trump to give his money back? And well, is this U.S. intelligence services that has been persecuting him all the way since 2008? Okay.
Okay.
Come on, Nodar, floor is yours, and there is a lot of room.
Well, to answer with your question, he is sane in boundaries of his insanity. Okay.
You're so philosophical.
No. He's logical in his insanity, and I'll explain what does that mean. Now, in intelligence community, in diplomacy, and you worked very actively in diplomacy, you know it very well. There is it's not a science, but it's acquired habit of filtering the bullshit. You know, when somebody talks with you on diplomatical level, intelligence level, you start to filter his, her, or their BS to understand what stays, you know. And normally, it can be 50-50, sometimes 70-30. In Bidzina cases, 90 or 95% is always BS. And we need to really filter out this 5-10% to understand what he actually meant by that. And so your questions are very valid. Is he asking for his money? Is he sane? So first of all, why he is insane? Well, he is insane because
he seems that he truly believes in this bullshit.
He does. We mentioned it a number of times.
French.
He is insane because he believes in it like in religion. he is insane because he went too far. 5 years ago, I could not say that he was insane because he just believed in conspiracy theories. Believing in conspiracy theories does not equal being insane. And by the way, sometimes part of conspiracy theories prove right. I mean, if you think that intelligence services never meddled in affairs of individual banks, look at Iran-Contras affair when they were selling drugs. I mean, they were selling drugs, CIA, to supply the Contras with arms. So these kind of things exist in history. They still exist. But to believe that that's the only way to do that, that's a conspiracy theory. But that's not insanity. Insanity, why I'm saying he's insane, because he went to harm's way. He declared war on civilized world because of those beliefs. Now, that is insanity. That is not conspiracy theories. I mean, conspiracy theories were 3-4 years ago. But in his own insanity, he is logical, because if you believe in that, then way he behaves makes lots of sense. I mean, it's textbook case. Okay, they're harming him. He tries to protect them, protect against them, and plus he says, "I'm not the only insane here. Look at Trump." I mean, that was a very good remark, and this is good that you brought it up. Look, it's not only me. President
Trump is fighting this.
Deep state, and they recognize that last administration part of it. So there is a logic in insanity, and it's true. Not only Mr. Trump. But a number of his administration individuals and his supporters are talking about the deep state. I mean, this is not the first time. So for Bidzina, who is self-educated and not in a very good way person, it's very easy to believe in these things because there are some high authorities, including the present president of the United States, the leader of the free world, arguably the most powerful man in the world, saying the same. So you guys can talk the talk here, but I'm gonna listen to Trump. So this what makes his insanity logical. Yeah. So Trump also believes in conspiracy theories, and he sometimes overdoes, but he didn't declare war on China because of that, or really invade Panama. The second time, actually, first time they did in the 80s. So that's what separates Trump's belief from Bidzina's insanity. Now, is he asking for money? Yes, he is. And definitely. I mean, that's a very good observation here. Because when I started talking about BS and about his bullshit here, 95% here is total bullshit. It's just ranting about these things that, he keeps repeating how he defends our interests, how defiant he is. He asking for two things. And one is he wants at least part of his money. He says in the letter that, we are okay with losing this money, we continue. He is not.
Clearly.
He's...
And because, this Trump passage is that. So, depending on whether Trump takes
it's like your ex who says that he or she is over you and keep texting you every night. This is the same. He keeps bringing this topic on and on and on. And, they're lying because he says that we did not even remember that 24 was a date. I can't believe in it.
No, I don't.
He doesn't have so many. He's not Berlusconi to have 300 cases at once, He doesn't have so many court cases, especially on such high...
The only thing he kind of is thinking about is that case. And this is why they published this letter in the first place.
And first of all, stop putting it on your lawyers. This is our supreme leader's letter. I mean, you can see even the way how it's spelled in Georgian words he's using. These are which are not literally acceptable words, but it's his kind of the slang he's using. So he wants his money back. Second thing what he wants, and I think they keep spreading this message that they want to start with the clean slate with the West.
With the US.
With the US, first of all, they say, yes, okay, we are no more beacon of democracy. You can downgrade us, but you are dealing with Azerbaijan, with Turkmenistan, with Kazakhstan. Why don't you deal with us? And there is a logic in that, of course. However, there is a counter argument that, US invested close to $5 billion to make democracy out of it. Now you are saying, I just destroyed all your investments here. Now let's be friends after that. I don't think that's gonna work because plus it's not about only dealing with Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is predictable and rational. Bidzina proven to be unpredictable, and he's proven to be untrustworthy. That's the most important part for Americans. You can't trust Bidzina. You remember what he did with his U.S. ambassador, that he said that he recorded their conversation. So I don't think that anybody will seriously take him from now on. So these attempts to reset relationship, first of all, the word is stupid because West has pretty bad memories about the reset, which was done with Russia.
I don't think that he's trying to reset relations. I think he's trying to get at least part of his money.
No, but he also wants to have some kind of relation. It's obvious he's afraid. You know what? Last time I met with Kotsis on the table, and I told them that, you continue to pressure and you will get big problems. And they told me, okay, we might, but they won't send troops, so we don't care. Look at Venezuela now.
Okay.
President is there. Yes, Venezuela is a neighboring, but president is there that there were troops deployed by US to defend.
Yeah. So, but first things first. First money and then the rest of the story.
But he wants this relationship. You remember when Trump was elected, how adamant they were to fix with him. So,
absolutely.
But of course, the most important part for him is money. Now, what he doesn't understand, and I think that is true because I was told it angers him enormously. He honestly believes that he is the only reason we are saved from the war. He does. He thinks that by his defiance, that he was not dragged to we talked about it in previous programs.
We did.
What was the case and this mention of some official. And he now thinks that we do not appreciate what he's done. And he thinks that because he was defiant, that's why this guy was recruited.
You mean the Leskadron?
Yes. And that's why his money was taken, because he was defiant. Now, to go to conclusion, what does that mean? Fact number 1, he lost his money. He did. Fact number 2, he believes that he saved Georgia.
Okay.
That's also fact. Fact
well,
number...
He believes.
He believes, Fact number 3, he also believes that he lost his money because he saved Georgia. So unify first 2.
Okay.
And question number 4, where from he gonna take this money back? Maybe from the country he just saved?
Okay. Well, I think that it's clear that you were a detective, Nodar. It's very Sherlock Holmes type.
This Arab investment?
Deduction,
You know that, very shortly, I think we should make a special edition to this Golden Tower. You know that they still have court cases in India, in Serbia, in Montenegro, in Albania. This is a con company, which leader is a famous con artist, and he's prosecuted by many countries, including European Union countries. Bidzina just brought them here to do an investment. So I think it's not my detection skills, but he just started what I said, getting this money back. So he says, I lost all hope to get this money. He's lying a bit, but he mostly lost it. And this is not good, because it's not good at all. Because if he lost this money, they're going to get this back from them. He's going to get this money from us, Georgi.
Okay, right. So I think a good idea is that if Americans pay him $500 million, but I think that that's not simple, because even if they pay him, so I don't think, because he got the idea that they can extract this money out of us. I think that it will be way better if he doesn't really get money and gets sanctioned more severely, so at least it weakens them. But also, what to add to what you said, I'll be brief here, but it basically, this letter shows a simple thing, because he cares about sanctions a lot. The sanctions trouble him, and let's face it, it's not the most severe sanctions that could be there. And he is not sanctioned by the United Kingdom, and if he gets sanctioned, that will be an extra load on his shoulders. And most importantly, not only him, well, he's individually sanctioned now, but in fact, his family members are not necessarily sanctioned, but they have restricted their access to their funds, simply because it is too dangerous to serve them. And if Ivanishvili properly gets sanctions by EU, by United Kingdom, by USA, including his family members, you can imagine how hard it will be for him to handle this. So I think that sanctions are a good way to go. But again, but your point that he's going to extract money from us, he's going to do anyway. So unless we push him out, okay. Let's move to the second
Okay,
question.
let me read it for you. And you are the specialist in this field. Clearly, you worked a very long time with European Parliament. You were part of the parliamentary party here. Actually, the main opposition party at that time. So. That was the time when being opposition was much better than it is today.
Well, today, it is incredibly dangerous. That time it was dangerous, but not that dangerous.
Yeah, but you worked a lot with internal and national.
I did. And I mean, we were competing at international stage.
And you were doing a good job.
Well.
What does Georgian Dream? What does Georgian Dream's restriction of diaspora voting rights signify? Are they preparing for re-election? So very shortly, just a few days ago, they introduced new initiative which would significantly restrict voting rights of Georgian citizens working and living abroad. There were a number of the useless explanations given, but these are just rhetorics. The fact is that they want to seriously restrict it, and they are moving there. So why, and will they manage to do that, actually? I mean, will they get away with that?
Okay, well, I think good question, and I don't really have the outright answer to that. But what I don't really understand is that I was not able to figure out the logic. Why did they need it? I don't think they needed that at all. And I don't think that restricting voting rights of our diaspora to Georgia only would make any significant difference. Okay, let's take a look at numbers from, let's say 2024 parliamentary elections. There were 96,000 registered voters, okay, abroad, and only 35,000 voted. Okay, out of this 35,000, probably up to 30,000 voted in favor of the opposition. So maybe less.
So 1.5%.
Okay. So now, they had it already restricted.
So they use technical means, yes?
Yeah. For example, there is not enough polling stations to accommodate these people anyway. And they simply wouldn't open more stations, and the number of people would be restricted to something between 30 to 40,000. Anyway, so, and even if all these 40,000 people together goes and votes,
even if all 96,000 goes and votes,
it wouldn't make significant difference to the entire, particularly now when they have all the leverage here in Georgia. So why they decided to make this step and anger diaspora beyond the elections, because I mean, let's face it, the diaspora is 10% of Georgia's GDP, so that they are sending to Georgia.
It is GDP.
That plugs the gap between the export and import deficit, right? No, well, at least the tourism and the remittances basically plug this gap. So I don't think restricting these people to only Georgia and bring this, the angry people to Georgia for voting, I don't think would bring anything beneficial to the Georgian Dream in the upcoming elections. But why on earth they did it? So the only thing that I can think of is that simple, I think, Russian playbook that is being updated based on Moldova model. So what happened in Moldova, I think everybody knows that in the previous presidential elections, Sandu succeeded to become a president because of the diaspora votes. Had it not been for diaspora, she would have lost the elections inside. And also in the the previous parliamentary elections, where at that time already, the Sandu's party was ready and Moldova was ready for hybrid attacks from Russia, and they countered it pretty well. In that case also, the share of the diaspora votes was pretty high. So I think that the Russian playbook got updated with the Moldovan model, and the Georgian Dream simply, and Ivanishvili simply follows the Russian playbook no matter what. So I think that this is the by default they did it. That's one explanation from my side. Second could be the insanity of Ivanishvili. And it was voiced by, I think it was Papuashvili said that, can you imagine if German state puts pressure on you to vote against Georgian Dream? Okay, I think that this Ivanishvili's schizophrenia, that the entire world and the deep state and the Western world is fighting him. Maybe he imagined that in the next elections, German state, French state, Italian state, all the others will basically put pressure on the Georgian nationals to vote against him. I think that this fear drives this step, because I don't really see any logic how restricting diaspora votes would help Georgian Dream. Maybe the opposition gets less than 1% or 1.5% because of this move, but that's maximum, I think. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think that you touched it with a needle when you said that it's insanity. Shatirishvili recently spoke that he welcomes departure of pro-opposition citizens from Georgia, but they're still afraid that, these guys are going out, but if they can influence process, what's happened, so they really think that West can one day organize, because that kind of things also happened. After the World War II, when there were very important elections in Italy, when the communists were poised to win, what United States then did, they used a lot of immigrants to do that. So they
shipped them in.
There are some examples, and you gave a very good example with Sandu. So Bidzina is right to be fearful. What I do not understand, and I fully subscribe what you're saying, that this methodology, it was already in the books. They did restrict lots of votes by technical means and just lack of infrastructure and lack of logistics. So it was not like very significant, but maybe he's afraid that one day he might not be able, or online voting or something. So he's trying to secure his future. But why to do it now? Because if this is coupled with visa restriction, and actually 1 week ago there was a new regulation was adopted by European Union. It's about Georgia. Everybody can understand that this is angering immigrants beyond already everything. So they have to pay lion's share of our budget, and they can't vote. So this is a pure case of taxation without representation. They pay lots of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that
this is why revolutions happened in the past. Yeah.
I think that he is digging his own grave. He politically continues to do so, but I don't think that they're stopping it. Until they are stopped, they will continue to do these things one after another, and farther we go, more scary and more ridiculous these things will become. 1 year ago, it was unthinkable that somebody would stop European integration. Okay?
Yeah.
6 months ago, nobody would believe that they will restrict votes of the citizens. What will be 6 months after this? We don't know that. So I think that we have to understand one fact, that while Bidzina is a logically sane in his insanity,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that all members of his team are.
Okay. Yeah,
Especially
that makes sense.
parallel to these arrests, now there is a competition to show and demonstrate loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
So people will start proposing pretty radical things now. So stay tuned.
Okay, thank you, Nodar. Thanks for watching us, listening to us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget Spotify if you prefer listening. And I'll see you next week.